Hello Internet, I'm your mate, and it's time for a new episode of Death Battle. This time we have Boba Fett from Star Wars versus the Predator from The Predator. Now, as I should say with all my reaction videos, please click the link in the description below to go watch the actual episode itself before watching mine or anyone's reactions. Don't be a dick, support the official release. Okay, I do have a quick thing to confess, before watching this, and that being that I've already watched the episode. And the reason being because I was at RTX, which I'll talk about later, especially given a pretty obvious thing right behind me. Yeah, so I was waiting in line for a panel, and I realized I'm not going to be able to avoid spoilers before I'm back, so I decided I'd just watch it. But I also thought I would take this opportunity to, take the opportunity in the video to just talk about RTX as a whole. And I should also give you a heads up that I'm in the process of moving rooms. So, yeah, I don't know how much longer this setup is going to be the case. So, yeah, things are going to change. And what I should also know, I literally just got back. And jet lag is a bitch. So anyway, if you saw my reaction to the last Death Battle and just the announcement of this one, or if you watched the last discussed Death Battle, then you'll know that I was a little gutted that this isn't the Arbiter versus the Predator. But honestly, after a little while, and even just seeing the episode itself, where I can, I don't mind as much now. Would I still love to see Arbiter versus the Predator? Of course. But hey, maybe one day. But, anyway, I am going to put my headphones on, shut the hell up, and hit play. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah.
Boba Fett, the greatest bounty hunter from a galaxy far, far away.
And the Predator, the monstrous manslayer from beyond the stars.
There's nothing quite like the thrill of the hunt, especially when you're chasing that most dangerous game.
Not humans, we're talking face-hugging aliens and space wizards. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
I will say the fight looks
Throughout the
fan-freaking-tastic.
galaxy, few names are as feared as Boba Fett.
When you've got the greatest army of all time cloned after your dad, that's no big surprise.
In an incredibly convoluted bid to wrest control of the Galactic Republic, the Sith Lords Darth Sidious and Tyranus
Yeah, convoluted,
secretly
but
organized
was
the
still
construction of a
executed
clone
fantastically.
army based on the genetic code
I
of
mean,
the
it
galaxy's
worked.
greatest bounty hunter at the time, Jango Fett.
On one condition, Jango Unchained got to keep one unaltered clone as his son, Boba, who became a cute little murderer just like his pop. Well, that is, until Jango, let it get to his head.
Oof.
Just as headstrong as his father, Boba swore vengeance on the Jedi and devoted
A
his
simple
life
man
to becoming
making
as
his
deadly
way
an
through the
assassin
galaxy
as
like his father before
forebears.
him.
Yeah, cause the Fets aren't just random badasses, they're Mandalorians. Basically a society completely dedicated to the art of war. Most of the time.
Indeed. In the galaxy's past, Mandalorians have waged war against the Jedi and easily held their own, despite lacking use of the Force.
Which is
What's
pretty
a
freaking
self-respecting
badass.
Mandalorian without his Mandalorian armor? Inherited from his dad, Fett's armor is made out of Beskar.
Also known as Mandalorian iron, Beskar is one of the strongest materials in the galaxy, tough enough to resist thermal detonator blasts and lightsaber strikes. Even bolts of lightning that can vaporize people aren't enough to harm the armor itself.
Fett's helmet has a targeting system, lets him see in infrared, and even has 360
Yeah, as soon as I heard this, I was
vision.
just like,
And his wrist-mounted
and there goes that
designed
edge.
to counteract a Force user's powers, come with a variety of indispensable tools, like a flamethrower, fiber cord whip.
Oh yeah,
concussion
Mandalorians
rocket,
are like
laser
a
beam, and forearm
human
But
Swiss
when
Army
Fett
knives.
wants to take his opponent by surprise, he breaks out the kneecap rockets. Not since the butt machine guns
I remember when I
have
first
Jet
saw
Battle
that,
seen a
it's just
weapon
like-
so devious.
As a living
Also a
Swiss
nice
Army
cool bag.
gun, Fett prefers long-range combat.
So it helps to have a jetpack for quick getaways, especially one with a rocket that can nuke small spacecrafts. He also has his trusty EE3 carbine rifle and blaster pistol, which is powerful enough to vaporize a dude in one shot.
But should an opponent get too
Yikes.
close for comfort, or should his jetpack inevitably malfunction, Fett can reacquaint his victims with their maker with his Gatterfy stick.
I do love that he has that for this
Tusken
episode.
Rite of passage, kind of like how Jedi make their lightsabers.
Add in your classic flash bombs, sonic bombs, gas bombs, motion sensor bombs, and the uber-powerful thermal detonators, and Fetty's basically a one-man army.
Thermal detonators can annihilate small buildings and even this giant stone bridge. Based on its size and the number of bombs used, each one should be packing around 3.5 tons of TNT.
But his weapons aren't all
Sweet.
that make Fett so deadly. He's a master marksman, hand-to-hand fighter, and tactician. He'd need to be to take on the Jedi and steal
Yeah.
sweet, sweet laser swords for himself.
He outsmarted the Jedi Master Mace Windu as just a child, and we know he's fought multiple Jedi after the Purge. In the old Legends timeline, he even fought Darth Vader twice. The same Vader
Now,
who can dogfight
that
at
is
near
freaking
light
badass.
speed.
That's why he's decked out with all those tools to distract and confuse Jedi and their space magic long enough to get a clean
Hey,
kill.
dummy.
And while he has a professional code of honor,
That's
when it
something
comes
I
to
should have asked at the
combat,
Death Battle
he
panel,
used
just
any
dummy plushy
underhanded
when.
tactics he can think of, perfect for fighting honorable Jedi. As my personal hero once said, silly Jedi. If only he was here right now to kill all these stupid meatbags.
That makes so
that's
much
probably not good.
sense.
Boba can crumple steel doors with ease, outrace explosions with his jetpack, and was shot through the chest and just walked it off. He was, and I quote, very angry about it. Not even the Sarlacc, the giant monster space vagina itself, was able to hold him, no matter the continuity.
Even into middle age, Boba
I was
remained
really happy to
forced
see they
be
brought him
reckoned.
back in
the older
Disney
timeline,
canon.
He led the Mandalorians to victory in the Yuzon Vong War, and even trained the Jedi Jaina Solo to defeat her brother, who just so happened to be a Dark Lord of the Sith. I guess even Boba was able to overcome his anti-Jedi prejudices.
And then Disney axed
There
all
it is.
that. But who gives a shit when you're sitting pretty on Jabba's throne like an absolute pimp? Or like a panther?
He even managed
The
to
moment
defeat
I heard
Cad
that, I
Bane
was
in a
like, well,
duel,
Billy's gonna
possibly
love
the
this
greatest
episode.
bounty hunter the galaxy had ever seen up until that point.
Second greatest now is, and look at that dodge, channeling some of that Han shot first energy I see.
So if you ever find yourself in Fett's crosshairs, don't bother running. You'll only die tired. The year
Now
was
for the
1987.
Predator.
In the balmy jungles of Central America, an elite American Spec Ops unit would come into conflict.
You know, in
with
hindsight, I
Soviet
really should have watched at
insurgents.
least one of
Their
the Predator
mission was a
movies, like, leading
success,
up to this, but
little
I was
did they know,
preparing for
they were
RTX,
the ones
so...
being hunted.
It was almost as if the
Yeah.
jungle itself was killing him. But in reality, it was a traveler from beyond the stars, a superhuman killing machine whose entire life was devoted to murder.
This was a predator, and these men were its prey.
And this alien hunter had more than enough gnarly gadgets to take Arnie and his crew down, like the plasma caster, a shoulder-mounted laser cannon.
It has a tracking system connected to the Predator's biohelmet, which allows him to see in X-ray, UV, and night vision. This is on
Now
top
that's
of the
handy.
Predator's own unique way of seeing, through natural infrared sight. Essentially, he tracks individuals by recognizing differences in heat signatures.
Too bad humans can't do the same, since the Predator's full-body light-bending camouflage makes him invisible to the naked human eye, letting him blend into the shadows and pick off his prey one by one.
But as ruthless as that sounds, the Predator is actually an honorable fighter, who relishes the chance to fight up close and personal with his iconic wrist blades.
And guess what? For as bad as this one Predator was, this dude wasn't even that special. In fact, he was actually kind of a noob. There's a whole planet of these guys.
These are the Yautja. Yautja? Yautja? Yautja?
Collects the skulls of
They
its
never
many,
actually say it in the
many
movies.
kills.
Yautja society is based around one thing: hunting. The bigger and deadlier the game, the more honor slaying it brings.
Which is why the Predators take on muscly 80s action heroes for breakfast.
Just one failed hunt forever dooms a Yautja to humiliation or death. And since Yautja lifespans can last hundreds of years, that would mean that Elder Hunters have centuries of combat experience and have never
That's
been defeated.
insane to
They
think
have
about.
literally kept winning for hundreds of years.
And this is the kind of Predator we're looking at today. The only way to become a fully independent hunter, a blooded hunter, is to slay their equally dangerous rivals, the Xenomorph. With bulletproof skin, acid blood, and retractable penis mouth, these aliens are dangerous enough to take down even the best Yautja hunters.
Which is why they carry a greatly diversified arsenal compared to the original Jungle Hunter. These more exotic weapons are earned over the course of numerous successful hunts and are proof of a Yautja's mastery and experience. Like the retractable combi sticks, net guns, and controllable smart discs that vibrate at supersonic speeds.
Allowing them to kill their ultimate equally dangerous rival, Gary Busey.
They even carry a portable EMP that will disrupt all electronic devices in the vicinity, forcing their prey to fight them on their terms.
Which is when they break out their plasma scythe, made of messed up evil
I'll be honest, I
laser
actually
energy.
didn't know this was a
Dark
thing.
plasma the scythe emits cannot be stopped by conventional matter. Instead of merely cutting a target, its energy passes through their body, ensuring their victim will die in as little as 4 hits.
Even without his arsenal, the Predator is a literal beast. He's strong enough to tear through 2 inches of steel like it was tissue paper, casually invent the first Mortal Kombat fatality, and give Mother Nature the finger.
I mean, yeah, he kinda did.
Oh shit!
It helps that Yautja armor is plasma forged, making it incredibly durable.
The Predator is tough enough to tank huge gas explosions and fast enough to dodge laser beams.
But even if a Predator is defeated, he is expected to perform one final rite, activating a countdown to a nuclear explosion that vaporizes everything within 300 city blocks. Based on the size of that blast, this would be exploding with 15 times the energy as the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima.
So when
Pretty
a
big
Greg wants you
explosion.
dead, there's no escape. Not even an army of
Unless you're able to
Xenomorphs and
sprint
their
away
queen
from
are
it.
enough to take the toughest predators down. When even Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger shits his pants in your very presence, you know you're as badass as they come. A goddamn sexual Tyrannosaurus.
Alright, I'm not gonna bother pausing because, well,
Alright, the combatants are set. We've run the data.
Yeah,
through
I
all
already know.
possibilities.
It's
time for a death battle! And this fight is freaking gorgeous looking. I mean, the Blender team always knock the Star Wars fights out of the park. I mean, Star Wars fights in particular.
Fools. You're mine.
Okay, I have something funny to talk about afterwards, just from that line. There goes the E3. Despite cradling it like a baby, Boba loses that gun a lot, doesn't he? Also really cool to see him use those. Knee rockets! I love that he uses the stick. Bonk.
You're mine.
Oof.
Amateur.
Sneaky, sneaky, boom. I love seeing it through this shot. Badass!
You are one ugly motherfucker.
I love that he says the thing. I mean, when it's the Predator, you're gonna have to say it, don't you? Oh, where'd he go?
I'll be taking this. Fools.
Just walking away with his arm. What a beast. And hey, it took over 10 years, but Boba Fett managed to get a win.
Boba was always a one-man army, even as a one-armed man.
Despite the Predator's fearsome power and experience, Fett's versatility and arsenal allowed him to survive this hunt.
While Boba
Yeah, this fight was actually closer than I gave it credit
easily
for.
tear straight through it, making him the stronger
And
of the two.
that's
But while the Predator
probably
could dodge
why
laser
this,
beams, Fett could match
this
Force
explanation,
users with near light speed
honestly
reactions,
thought,
making them similar.
like
in
when I
speed.
first heard it, I just
However,
thought
the
this is
major
a
difference
really,
was durability.
While the Predator's
long
arctic
explanation
tough,
for the win.
Fett's Beskar armor covers more of his body and would easily resist almost all of a Predator's arsenal.
Like the plasma caster, usually hot enough to blast a hole through anything. But you know what else is made of plasma? Lightsabers, which bounce off Beskar, no problem.
Specialized tools like the Plasma Scythe, with its ability to bypass conventional matter, could manage to kill Fett with a few lucky hits. However, Fett's jetpack and long-range arsenal allowed him to fight safely from a distance.
And Fett's kit countered a lot of what Predator could do. His helmet's
Sorry, just
infrared
remembering
could
the line.
see past Pred's camouflage. His flamethrower messed with Pred's thermal vision, and nothing the Predator had could withstand a lightsaber strike.
Also, the Predator's EMP could not disable Fett's armor, considering
this
Beskar
I was
has
actually
withstood
surprised about,
electromagnetic
because
energy
I was
before without short
watching this with someone, they
That's
brought up
not to
that
say
the
Predator was
Emp
totally
would
outmatched.
screw
He had
over
a lot
Boba
of
Fett.
similar gear, and a peak Predator would
So,
have had
I really
centuries
appreciate
of
that
combat
inclusion.
experience backing him up, way more than Boba.
However, Fett was generally trickier. Predators fight with a code of honor and rarely, if ever, employ dirty tactics.
Hey,
Fett
honor
isn't
doesn't always
totally
mean
without honor.
like
He
much
still
in a death
employs
battle.
dirty tactics to win fair fights, and was more likely to outfox the Pred given the chance.
Of course, none of that would have mattered had the Predator taken them both out with his nuclear suicide bomb. At its epicenter, it would have been
Yeah, but then
more
wouldn't
than
that just
powerful
count as a
enough to
draw?
fly Fett. At its epicenter,
'Cause they both die at the same
further away
time.
you are from the center of a blast, the less energy you're getting hit with.
By our calculations, Boba only needed to get about 50 meters away before the energy he was tanking was only about as much as your average thermal detonator, which the Beskar can survive. And given the countdown lasts 40 seconds, there was more than enough time, especially with a jetpack.
Yeah,
Hell,
absolutely.
Arnie escaped the same attack just by
Also that,
spreading.
yeah.
But perhaps the most important difference is the scope of their prey. Xenomorphs are definitely deadly, but they're not quite as dangerous as a master force user who can
Oh,
read
hell no.
minds and throw starships around like they're made of paper. Fett was definitely prepared for anything the Predator could throw at him, even space magic. The Predator was as deadly and skilled as they come, but Fett's cunning, arsenal, and impenetrable armor gave him the win.
Congrats to Boba. Give him a hand. Oh wait, he's already got one.
The winner is Boba Fett.
Congrats, Boba Fett.
Hey, if you want more Death Metal ASAP, why not grab a membership? You'll get exclusive emotes, badges, live chat, live streams, and a bunch of behind-the-scenes
And
stuff. Just
now
click
for
the
a
join button.
bonus
Thanks for watching.
episode. Excalibur versus Raiden. Hell yeah. Okay, so my thoughts on the episode overall. I thought it was really great. Honestly, I kind of like debate whether or not I prefer this over Harley Quinn versus Jinx. So I'd say this is definitely my second or third favorite of the first half. I'm just gonna have to put a bit more thought into that. So yeah, a solid episode all around. Like, I think some of my favorite parts were, like, in particular, were one, Boba Fett saying the line, and cauterizing his own severed, like, arm with the lightsaber. Like, that is freaking hardcore. I also, like, I mentioned the post-analysis did feel quite long, but I do appreciate that because there was a lot of, like, variables to consider. And but considering that this fight also turned out a lot closer than I expected it to be, I do appreciate the explanation and how, like, yeah, Predator could have easily won in some circumstances. So, yeah, that was a thing. And like I said, the moment I saw the, like, a band first scene show up in the analysis, my first thought was, well, Bill's gonna love this episode. This is gonna be his favorite, just on that alone. So I look forward to hearing him talk about that on Let's Discuss Death Battle. Now, as for the bonus episode, Excalibur vs. Raiden, initially I would say my money's on Raiden, just because, like, in the first level of his game, like the tutorial, he's strong enough to lift and yeet a Metal Gear. He only gets, like, stronger after that point because he got a more advanced cyborg body after that. And a blade that can vibrate at frequencies to weaken its target's molecular bonds. So, a sword like that with that kind of strength, it's not impossible to beat, but it's definitely an uphill battle. I've heard some people say they think Excalibur does win, so if he does, hey, fair play. And I found out about this bonus episode at RTX, where it was being shown off at the Death Battle panel. They explained that Warframe did pay the Death Battle crew to make this episode. However, they still have full creative control, and they're the ones who chose the matchup, not Warframe or anything like that. And admittedly, there was some, like, technical issues with the Death Battle panel, so I kind of got a little spoiled on who Excalibur's opponent was before the reveal. But, like, it's still cool nonetheless, and that fight is animated by Devil Artemis, so bound to be a good time. And, speaking of RTX, I also found out what the episode that will, I guess, start the second half will be. I'm not sure if I should say what it is, just in case, but I'll just say I know. So when I assume just one of the characters is going to get revealed after Raiden vs. Excalibur, or Excalibur vs. Raiden, that I won't be, like, too surprised. Yeah, and you might notice a little something behind me. I'm just gonna grab it. I took this Blake vs. Mikasa print that I put together myself and got signed by not only Aaron Zek, but a bunch of the Death Battle cast and crew. So we got Aaron Zek, DJ Tiki, who was Blake's lead researcher. Shout out to you for actually, like, recognizing me and, like, approaching me after the panel, man. That was insane. Ben, Chad, Liam, Billy, who also drew a little bee with Ringmaster glasses. I didn't realize that until afterwards. Joshua and Sam. So that was a lot of fun to get signed. I also learned that Ben and Chad at least do watch my videos, so in that case, hey guys, it still kind of, like, blows my mind, and Ben told me something that I'm going to talk about in a Max and Mate discussion, and probably Lads discuss Death Battle, so keep an eye out for both Lads and Max and Mate whenever that comes out. I assume, like, Max and Mate will be after Excalibur vs. Raiden. Those will be a thing, and RTX was just a great time. I have been thinking about making, like, a few videos, like, on it. I know I'm gonna be discussing, like, all the Ruby stuff with Max, and I don't know. I could make, like, some RTX stuff its own video, but we'll see what I decide to do. I only just recently got back, and I'm gonna wrap this video up. I believe the Wait, I actually don't remember what the last outro I used was, so thanks for watching all that stuff, and here's whatever outro is next in the cycle. Bye.
This is Blake Belladonna with Your Only Mate saying like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.